What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. I'm the Wolfman, and today we are continuing our Virginia Film Festival coverage with day 2, which is 2 reviews fitting day 2 reviews. We are doing Blitz and Memoir of a Snail. So we'll start off with Blitz. This is a new film from director Steve McQueen, which is the director of 12 Years a Slave, Shame, Widows. He's done a lot of really good acclaimed films. He's just come out with his latest. It's going to be on Apple TV Plus, and the star Saoirse Ronan, who I love. She's one of my favorite actresses of all time. So I knew I had to see this one because this is like one that's being discussed and talked about as a huge Oscar contender. So I made it a priority, and I liked it, but I didn't love it. So basically what Blitz is, there's this series of bombings. There's like an operation that Nazis were doing in World War II, which is called Blitz, where they would bomb these homes, and so people had to be evacuated consistently, and a lot of times children were taken from their mothers, and such is the case with Saoirse Ronan, where she loses her child, and her child has to be evacuated from her. And then from that point forward, it's a journey of a mother trying to find her son again. And it's a harrowing story. It's a really poignant story at times. My issues more so lie with, I had a few pacing issues in there where I felt like at times things were trying to ramp up and they were trying to make it intense. And there were times where there was just full on just slog and just really boring moments that didn't really do much for me. And then I felt like there was also too much going on. There was like too many subplots and such. They have stuff thrown in there. I'm not going to give much away because the film doesn't come out till like the end of the month. But there is things thrown in there about people that this kid encounters along the way, and they start making all these different plot points for them, and the mother has different plot points going on with her and some other people, and I just felt like they were trying to juggle too much in to this 2-hour runtime, which usually if you have a 2-hour film, it's not a bad thing to try to throw in as much as you can. But here I just feel like it didn't really work that well. But what did really work well, that I can tell you, is the performances. The performances here are top notch. Saoirse Ronan is fantastic, but that's also like saying water is wet because she is fantastic in everything she's in. I don't know the young kid's name, but he was also utterly brilliant and just really good child performance. I thought all the other characters that we get introduced to, I thought they all did really well performance-wise. The sound design, I want to throw that out because the sound design here is really, really good. There are several action sequences that happen with like the explosives going off or some other things happen. And it's really booming and sounds like you're in it, and it sounds really, really nice. So this definitely should get like a sound nomination. I could definitely see that because the sound work was extraordinary in a theater. I am glad I saw this in theater, even though it's going to be on Apple TV Plus. I'm glad I saw it in theater because I got to hear all the booming sound and all that stuff. So that was nice. The cinematography, there is some pretty shots in there that work really well. There's some other times where I felt like, oh, I'm watching a movie that's on Apple TV Plus. This feels like a streaming movie. But most of the time, it felt really cool, looked really nice. The score is the one other big disappointment I had because it's not necessarily a bad score, but arguably one of the greatest of all time, Hans Zimmer, did the score composition for this. And they made it such a forgettable score. It felt like his version of the Fablemans, you know, where you get this legendary composer who will probably get nominated for making a score like this that winds up not even being that memorable. So that was just whatever. The action when it's on screen is really nice. There's some really heart pounding, intense moments here that I was on the edge of my seat for. So they did a good job there. Just some of the issues I talked about definitely come into play in this film. So, yeah. Overall, guys, I would easily say Blitz is still a good time. Definitely recommend it. Check this one out when it is streaming on Apple TV Plus. I think that if you're into these wartime period pieces, you're gonna like this one. So give it a go if it sounds like your cup of tea. The next one I want to talk about is the one I'm really excited to talk about. And this is Memoir of a Snail from Adam Elliott. This is a new stop motion claymation film that is from IFC and Shudder. So it'll be on Shudder at some point. At least that's what it showed on the screen before the movie started. So this one was interesting because they actually invited Adam Elliott to be there. So he was there in person, got to have a Q&A afterwards. He came with his own little Gracie, the main character from Memoir of a Snail, came with his own little dolls that he made. And it was really cool. He's a really nice guy. He talked about the experience of making this film. It took him 8 years to create it. This is a huge passion project of his. And Adam Elliott is responsible for films like Mary and Max and a few other films that have gone on to great acclaim. So, what is Memoir of a Snail about? It is this girl, as I mentioned, Gracie, who is sort of with her brother Gilbert. Her and her brother kind of are navigating through life, through the hardships of life. And at one point, they get separated, and things happen there. And she collects these snails, she hoards these snails, and she's sharing her memoir to a snail that she just let go to be free. So that's the gist of it. And it goes kind of into past and present while she's narrating the story through the memoir. This is a very beautiful, profound movie about life, the hardships of life, about self discovery, about trying to find confidence within yourself, about literally being brought out of our shells. So many really interesting metaphors that are interwoven in here with stunning animation. He said every single little detail had no CGI. All of it is stuff that you could literally physically hold in your hand. And I'm just blown away by that because they do some things in here. I don't know how they pulled it off. He explained it, and I still don't understand it because it was incredible. And all the characters, all the design work was great. I loved the score of this film. I just talked about score earlier. There was some music that they kept on playing that just was so emotionally impactful to every element. This film is super bleak, very melancholic, but also beautiful and true to life and funny too. We were all cracking up and having a ball in the theaters. So it's got a mix of everything in there. It is rated R. There's some full on like adult stuff in here that kids should not be watching. So just know that it feels like, especially when you watch the trailer, it feels like it's a family animated kind of film. It is definitely not. There's some things that kids should not be seeing that are in this film, but it is so well done. If you're an animal lover, especially, you're going to love this because of what they do with like the snails and all that kind of stuff. And if you're into animation, you're definitely going to love this, and claymation especially. I was bawling my eyes out by the end of this thing. It is truly a work of art in every sense of the word. So just another one I was blown away by at the festival. Man, Virginia Film Festival 2024, it is really kicking off to an excellent start, guys. And I'll be here to review all the films for y'all. So definitely be on the lookout for all that. Oh, before I go, I did want to mention the voice acting, and voice acting was great. Everyone, Sarah Snook plays the main characters from Succession. She was excellent, and I thought that everyone did a great job with their performances. With all that said, guys, thank you all for watching and tuning into these videos. Because of y'all, I get to come on here and attend these festivals as press and review these movies for y'all. So be on the lookout for this movie when it comes to your theater. He said it's coming to theaters November 4th, I believe, or November 6th, somewhere around there. And then eventually it'll be coming to Shudder too. Be on the lookout for that. We will see you all in the next one. And until next time, stay classy, my friends, and keep on watching those movies.